I wish you welcome back to my short podcasts, even though I do not have the faintest idea about who you are, my estimated guest. In fact, it is quite a challenge being asked the question, who are you? Often this question is formulated a bit different, what are you? Usually those questions are quite superficial, and you will reply by giving your name and state the title of your profession. Quick and easy, no more required. Well, you do not expect me to stop there, do you? I never consider questions like these superficially, yet I may, at any given social setting, reply exactly like that, even though I find it downright stupid. I am not what I look like, and I am not what I am doing for a living. I'm none of it, yet a lot more. I must admit that I quite often have to resort to such banalities, and even more participate in conversationing covering a wide range of banalities. The ordinary individual is literally swimming in superficial banalities, and I do shamelessly hate it. From time to time, I confront such superficial talk and study the reaction. Normally, what I see is an expression of disbelief, at times of being insulted, and behind it I see emptiness. When I confront it. To me, this is a disturbing, unsettling experience. Why this emptiness? Why this reaction to most sincere interest in learning to know this other person a bit better? A little more than just superficially. I say, knock knock, is there anyone in there? The answer is often very dubious. The house is often empty and no one is at home. Even though I know this person is both emotional and intelligent, there is a deep emptiness in the living room. The unrecognized and unexpressed core is asleep in the bedroom. Considering this, I notice that the inner driving force in this person are caused by external influences. They are reactions at play with the surrounding material and emotional realities, not expressions of a unique inner urge. Further, very little critical thinking takes place at the cognitive level. Observations pass mindlessly, subliminally also, through and down the drain into the gutter of primitive emotional and routine patterns. Hence, automatic reactions are often demonstrated as a lack of depth. Asking the initial question, what you get for an answer is that which the individual identifies with. The question of identity is very high on present-day public agenda. It's an agenda calling for appearances, not for depth. Of course, some of an individual's identity connects with physical aspects, such as language, the color of the skin, or gender. Those are inescapable, but of more or less importance than the invisible. When you are faced with the question, who are you? You do not reply, I'm a Danish, a white Caucasian woman. You will say, as I said, more probably present yourself by your name and answer that you are a carpenter or maybe an artist, a manager of a certain business, or even a politician. These are two important hooks where you hang your garment of your identity, name and job. But there are more such garments, and there is a reason that I call it garments. For that is what you wear to cover your body. There is a kind of weather out there, winds, rain, cold, burning sun. Those garments protect your inner identity from all kinds of unwanted penetration. Paradoxically, your mind remains wide open to all kinds of influence from the surrounding society. Advertisements for a ton of products you really do not need, yet go ahead and buy. Political messages embellished by specialists to get through to exactly a personality like you, and religious scares to make you join a certain congregation. I might go on. So, you hide in protective garments while keeping your eyes and ears wide open to targeted nonsense. You invest identity in your occupation and in objects you wear, clothes, handbags, watches with some status that you have adopted from ads, commercial entertainment on television and social media. A victim of influences, your identity becomes nonsensical stupidity. This is why you are not at home, answering to my knock-knock. Little do you realize that your mind has become the playing field of powers you do not see. You are pulled by your nose into blindness and ignorance. Attaching your identity to external aspects is a way of losing yourself and becoming a victim and even a tool of powers you cannot control. You may observe this when people are talking over ears full of all their achievements in their fields of professional or another activity. It is self-aggrandizement backed by a binding identification. It is a trap. Yet there are people who do not let themselves be carried therein. I have a very good friend who as a young man started working at the very bottom level of the business where he is today the CEO. He is a very able person, yet after more than 25 years of hard work, growing into this top position, he never lost himself. He is one of very few people I know who knows himself and understands the importance of role distancing. I say people like him have preserved their integrity by more deeply understanding who they are. Thus they are impregnated against bullshit. Often the greatest victims of delusional identity are those who have made it to the top of some hierarchy in society, business, politics, clearly. They have a greater challenge to face, the illusion, because they have gathered it by their own effort. Few have a greater problem in distancing themselves from their roles. Their identity with the role, so much that there is almost no difference between who they believe they are and the role they outwardly perform. Politicians are a case for particular study because they live beside being visible, just like film and popular music celebrities. Both in a particular way, they exercise some power over a huge number of people by setting trends or wielding political power. Such power is a drug, and it works on the minds like drugs. In a recent newspaper article, the essayist pointed out that there is no rehab institutions for power addiction. At this point, it is necessary to be precise about why I have taken this long tour of the mundane. It has to do with the frailty of the cognitive mind, how it is malleable to all sorts of influence when the inward connection is weak or even almost entirely missing. You who cannot be defined other than very superficially by all the attributes you connect to in the social material world. As your cognitive capacity is a tool in everyday existence, those attributes are just flags that you want to fly above your head and show in order to be socially recognized in the world and escape confrontation with inner realities. There are consequences to this rush for social appreciation. You lose the inner connection to your true self in the same degree as you link up to the elements of the outward. Fame and self-esteemed importance in the world will tear you out. Your self will disappear in an ego, filling the masks of personality of social role play. This will turn inward and shape your inner self by your absorption into the roles. Once this circular self-feeding process starts working, your inner self will lock on to the outer aspects. Your deeper levels of consciousness, will fill up with rubbish, and you will be more and more connected by the outwardly. There is a reason why most people believe that consciousness is only the cognitive, even while accepting subconscious influences. When the subconscious ends up as a reservoir of influences penetrating only from the worldly, material and social experience, it will end up working like a feedback mechanism. Penetration of impulse and inspiration from deeper levels of consciousness will only very rarely penetrate to the cognitive surface, because the subconscious is clogged up with your attention is elsewhere, out in the social bushland. Likewise, your ability to reach into higher reality will be blocked by all the accumulated rubbish. Go on. Keep up with the times. Be connected, superficial and gullible. Read the newspapers, see the televised news, keep in touch with every silly thing popping up on your several social media platforms. Watch the sports, all the entertaining series on the telly. Keep talking about the insignificant to relieve you from every disturbing thought that might surface. In short, make sure to be entertained to death and subsequently die like an empty shell. Then I ask, who are you?